Happy Wednesday.
Same to you. It was a nice intro.
Yeah. Something a little different. How are you, Louise?
I'm good. Yeah. I'm doing fine.
Good.
How about you?
I'm doing all right. Had wound care today. So we're progressing, still slow, but hanging in there.
That's good.
Yeah. Weather's cold. Happy spring. I think we went back to winter now. We're finally getting winter.
Yeah.
So it's
we had a freeze warning a couple of days ago, and now it's warm. It's like spring outside. So it's weird.
Lucky.
Yeah.
So G is having fun in Egypt.
Yeah.
So I haven't been on Facebook much to see if she's posted any pictures or not. So
I haven't seen any. I was on there today. I didn't see anything, but she may be still like flying. I don't know when she left, but she may be just getting there. I don't know.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. I know it's still light out here, and I'm sure if it's nice places, people are starting to fly a little bit more. And I see Travis is in here. So Bill H, Dawn Belleville, and Linda, Travis again, Craig B from Down Under, 2 Feet and a Heartbeat, Kramer, Bonnie Franz, and my mom was in here right away. She was first. She had to beat everybody. Jay and Kat Land from Texas. Hi guys, thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. So we have a guest that we've had in the past, and I just really enjoyed talking to her the last time, and she's a paraglider, and she's out in San Diego, and I'd like to hear more about her and see how she's doing. So let's bring Millie in. Well, hello there, Millie.
Hi, Millie.
Pixie. Uh-oh, your screen froze, or otherwise it's mine again.
No, I think it was her this time.
Am I frozen?
No, you're good now.
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah. So what kind of weather do you have in sunny San Diego?
It's a pretty spectacular sunny San Diego day today. It's been warm, almost, I mean, you could have been in shorts today. A few people flew. Billy just went out and flew for a little bit. So pretty beautiful day.
Yeah.
Southern California weather.
Hey, we don't get any snow, which I love snow. So it's a give and take, I guess, to a degree.
I'll give you ours.
We'll take it.
So where are you originally from?
Originally, I was raised in Seattle, Washington. Okay. And then when I graduated high school, moved to Utah. And then that's pretty much been my main spot till we moved to California a couple of years ago.
Okay. What about Billy? Where's he from? Sorry.
Billy, he is from just outside LA area, Riverside, California, where he grew up. And then out of high school, he also moved to Utah, and then that's been his home base until we moved to California as well. So
that explains why you ended up in California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us again where your little flying park is that you pretty much hang out at.
Yeah, so I'm at Torrey Pines Glideport. It's probably historically one of the most historical spots on the West Coast. It's just here. It's called La Jolla, California. It's spelled La Jolla, though. Just a little bit north of San Diego, just on the coastal cliffs. It's pretty beautiful here. Not hard flying, but it's relaxing and beautiful. And we have a bunch of whales lately. Like we've had baby gray whales and gray whales like in the surf. You can fly right over the top of them. Well, I haven't been, but the other day Billy was teaching, goes, students, whales! And like everybody went down the ridge and off to see the whales, and everyone's out over the water looking at them. And so it's been a pretty cool. I mean, I can see them from the shore, so it's been pretty cool.
Yep. I was just going to say, Linda Anderson Robert Michaels, that's his favorite place ever, where you fly out of.
Yeah, we just saw him last week or something. He came in. I was had just come up to visit everybody, and he rolled in, and it was nice to see him.
Yeah, that's his mom, Linda.
Yeah. So. Hi, Linda.
All right. So, when's the last time you've flown?
Let's see. I flew. It's been about almost 6 weeks now since I flew.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
You're an instructor, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also want. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's right. You teach paragliding, right?
Yeah, paragliding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never
Plus-
paramotored yet. I've been attached tandem once, but the winds were so switchy, it just didn't work out. So that's one time I almost went.
Plus, you're a seamstress for wings too, right?
Yeah, I run the repair shop here as well. So I do the fabric repairs, line repairs, annuals, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. How long does it usually take you to work on a wing?
It varies on, what needs to be done. If it's just a line repair, everyone's always like, oh, it's just a simple line repair, but sometimes line repairs can get really complicated, or the machine decides it wants to just be fussy that day, and you're just like, oh my gosh. And other times everything just works great, and within, 10, 15 minutes, I can have a line switched out. If someone does, big fabric damage, I'm having to change out chunks of fabric. It can be anywhere from an hour to a couple hours based on, where it's located and how technical that area of the wings repair is. But it's
How
pretty
big
fun.
How big of an area? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, how big of an area do you need? Like a warehouse or to spread the wing out?
In like the most perfect world, I would have like what Justin White has at Cloud9. He's got this big area to hang a wing up and stuff. I have a pretty cool like high cubed 40-foot container they've built out for me here at the glider port. So I do a little bit of work out on the lawn, get things prepped. I bring it into the container and do work in there. I've got a little rigging system in there that I can hoist wings up and do like line change outs and some things that are pretty simple. But in a perfect world, I would love to have a huge area with double story to hoist a wing up and maybe a couple wings at a time, and just dream things.
Right.
So do you only work on paragliding sails or wings, or do you also work on paramotor sails?
No, I do paramotors also. I probably possibly do more paramotor repairs than I do paragliding repairs. People end up having bad launches and snack a couple lines, and need a couple line repairs, or they snag a line and pop a line attachment out, so I end up doing a lot of little repairs like that. People can always send me an email, and if I need to order supplies in or things like that, I may have to a little bit here and there, but overall I've got pretty good stock on most stuff as I need to do things.
So you do inspections on wings as well?
Yeah, I only can take so many inspections per month. So as I get kind of my monthly lineup going, sometimes I'll have to say, well, if you guys need it done in this time frame, send it to here or there. There's a lot of places that do annual inspections. It's you just got to have the right equipment and stuff to do that correctly. But so yeah, I'll do them as I can throughout the month. I typically take a few annuals per month, and then I can save some time for line repairs and fabric repairs as people need, because I don't only just do repairs, I also teach. So I kind of split my time between, multiple things at the glider port.
Bill H., I guess I didn't even check. When was the last time that you were on? Do you remember? Was it about a year ago or?
Yeah, it's got to be like a year or so, maybe a little bit more or something like that, possibly.
You were getting ready to have, I think, your last...
A little fly-in or something.
Your fly-in. You were coming up on your fly-in. When do you normally have that?
I think I've been doing I've done some in May. This last year we did in August. So I'm trying to remember what we did it the previous year. Might have been in July, possibly. Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head.
So it
Yeah.
must have been 2 years ago then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's been a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
How about that?
Yep, we're still here. So tell us where you've been. I know you've kind of traveled a little bit since we last talked.
Yeah, I think last talked, I went out to, I've done 4 acro courses in Turkey now. Let's see, I've also went to Dune de Pila, France, and then we've done a couple trips to Mexico, I think, since I talked to you guys last, kind of our annual pilgrimage areas we like to go to.
Tell us about Turkey.
So Turkey's awesome. I just want to be there like right now if I can. Like, I swear every time me and Billy lay down in bed, we're like, "Are you doing helis right now?" I'm like, "Uh-huh, are you?" and stuff. So, but it's just wonderful there. The water in fall was much warmer. In spring, the water was a little chillier. But in the fall, the water was just so fun to go swim in all day long. I mean, sometimes we swam like 3 different times in between laps. They have a gondola system there. You can just go right up to the top of the mountain. Some of the courses use buses, so it's a little easier to move us around because there's 5 or 6 different launches, so you can end up at different places where you need to for the wind directions. And then you just go float out over to the ocean like a mile above it and just butter smooth air and just do tricks. And if you end up throwing your reserve, there's like 100 boats. Well, not 100, but like if you're on reserve, I've seen up to like 4 boats like rushing to a person on reserve. So it's a overall pretty safe place to be if you're needing to get help, you know. So it's incredible.
Wow, that's awesome.
I am going to see if I can pull up one of your turkey videos here. Let me,
Oh
I
yeah.
got too many buttons to press here. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's really, really beautiful there. Like, I mean, I love towing, but it's so nice to foot launch and just float out. And oh, the sunsets there are just incredible. And yeah,
So
and
you
that when you
just
start to
go
see the
up,
town.
you just go up there and just start doing, just fly up there and start doing tricks. They
Yeah,
don't tow
yeah, you
you
just
up.
fly out. Nope, you go up on like gondola or a bus, and then you just foot launch off this mountain that's super high behind us, and then you just glide out, and you glide out anywhere between 4,000 to 6,000 feet over the water, and just use all that altitude to throw down.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun spot. Yeah, and that one's at the glider port. We don't get as much altitude there, so can't do as many tricks there unless you want to be filleted on the side of the cliff on a reserve toss or something.
Yeah, I was watching one of them. You were really close to like a cliff.
Yeah, that'd probably be ones at the glider port where we're just ridge soaring and super close to the terrain for the most part.
That must have been the last one.
Yeah, we've got this Mansion Row area. You can see Alicia Keys lives on the cliffside, and like that house is
Right
got
here?
like a couple kids that live there. Yeah, like some teenagers, and you're like, oh man, what a life you kids have. Like, hey, who wants to come hang out at my house at the swimming pool on the cliffside, you know? Pretty
Kidding.
cool. And then that little area, the little walking path area, this time of the year, these photographers come out and the peregrines are in nesting season. They nest right along the cliffs of the mansions. And so these guys come out for a month and they just watch the peregrines with their telephoto lenses. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
That's amazing.
A little toe dragging.
Oh yeah, and that one's in France. the largest sand dune in Europe's in France, and it's the sand is butter smooth, so you can be barefoot in it, and it's just huge and really fun. We went there in June, and like literally 4 days after we left, a huge forest fire went through and shut the whole place down and burned all the cabins. And they're just getting the cabins back in, so I think they're saying at the end of the season the cabins will be back for rent, and they're literally on the side of the dune, so it's really cool to stay at the cabins and go fly every day, and so pretty cool spot.
Kramer said, wow, wingovers and barrel rolls. So exciting. I would love to go do that.
This is what got me the first time before I met her. I saw her doing this stuff, and I'm like, I gotta talk to this girl.
Yeah, I was like bouncing around. It's really cool. Like if you glider's pressurized, you can pop up and be weightless for a little bit, and you kind of feel like you're a superhero with like extra huge bouncy steps, and so I just enjoy it.
Oh. All right.
Cute.
Well, cool. We got Scuba in here now. Let's see, John Wayne. Hi, guys. Brian Franz is in here. Thanks for joining. So, any places that you guys, I guess, what's the most recent place you've been to? This
So
winter, were you
recently, we went to Valle de Bravo, Mexico. We were out there for 3 weeks. We take our students down there, signed off students down there, and do thermal courses with them. And it was fun. Like we had a good time, but I got really sick. I got like some stomach virus and then threw my back out while I had it. So like my last week and a half was like in the room. But we got some really good flights before I had to disappear from everybody for a minute. So, but it's been a lot of years since I got the Mexico sickness. So I think I've been pretty lucky the past few years.
You drank the water.
Yeah, we don't know what it was. There's a handful of us that just got like some sort of like flu, and I just happened to probably get it the worst of everybody. So yay.
Wow.
What else? Down in Florida, or not in Florida. I know during the winter time, I know I saw one of your videos, and it's the butterflies. They were down there. Is it that same area?
Is that the monarchs?
Yeah, so there's a couple different spots like around the Valle de Bravo area where the monarchs go to. And for a lot of years, they actually didn't even know where they went. And then somebody randomly found this place in Mexico. So it's really cool. Our van driver takes us over. So we take a morning off with our gear, and he stays at the van, and we go fly the afternoon. So we drive out there in the morning, and it's, maybe I think like a half-hour drive from Valle de Bravo or so. And then we hop on some horses. Those horses take us up the mountain, and then they drop us off, and we have to hike up even more to wherever the butterflies have stayed for the night. One of the days, I swear, they took us up like 2,000 vertical feet from the horses. I was like, holy cow. And then other times we only go a little bit up. So it just depends on how cold it is and where all the butterflies settle each night. But it's their main winter nesting ground. So there's millions of them. It's pretty incredible to see. Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, that's impressive. Yeah, you can go on to your Instagram page to see that.
Yeah, and it's really cool because like everybody in Mexico thinks of them as being, very sacred. We don't want to step on them. You want to, not mess with them. And so when we're up there, it's silent. It's, like you're in church or something, and don't talk, be quiet. And then you can just hear the butterfly wings. It's like, when you hit so many butterflies flapping wings, it actually has a sound to it, and it's pretty incredible to hear.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so if anybody ever goes down to Valle de Bravo, it's definitely worth taking a morning off and then just catching the glass off to see the butterflies one of the days.
No kidding. All right. Jay Land has got a question. How are the paragliding classes structured?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So at the glider port, we don't have the ability to drive people back up from the top. So, everyone has to do their hikes to earn their stuff. But for us, since we're doing a cliff launch, it takes a little more skill ground handling wise to get people off the hill nice and safe. So typically a few days of, forward inflations and getting ready to run straight and things like that. And then typically people that are brand new are in our morning class when the winds aren't cranking high and ridge sorry style winds. So they're not, getting drug around. And then they start by doing their beach flights, launching off, taking nice flights down the beach, working on their skills, taking their tests. And as their ground handling starts to improve throughout their courses, then they start moving to the afternoon classes, which is where the wind is for us to be able to ridge soar. So we got to build the skills up. And then once we get to the soaring stuff, then, we're top landing and getting more flights done that way and getting our main maneuvers checked off in the afternoon class as well. So it just varies how people move through it. But overall, we start in the morning and you graduate into the afternoon class to finish.
And how many classes would you say? I mean, I
It
understand.
Yeah, it
Depends.
varies on who, what you can do. If someone can come out and like invest, day after day, then we build upon the lessons, and people move through much quicker. We've had pots come out and get it done in like a month. In the good seasons, where they have, every day to be there, their work is flexible, or they're working from, their computer and stuff. Some people that can only do the weekends, that's where it gets a little bit longered out to, maybe a 3-month kind of time frame, if they're really able to come out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or maybe Saturday, Sunday here and there. And then, we get a bad weather weekend and just kind of delays it out. So we always tell people the more we can get you in kind of a chunks at a time, if that's a chunk here and then you have to do a little bit of work and another little chunk, then it kind of gives us a little bit to build you up a little bit more, So, but we give everybody, we say typically the P2 course should be able to be completed within a 90-day time frame. So if people are local, they can work through their work schedules, and people that come from out of town, are typically the ones we have for, a month or so, getting stuff done.
Grateful Gatto says, "Hey, Millie."
Hello.
Deweese, do you want to take
That one.
Sure.
Jay Land says, is there a reciprocal for US PPA PPG rating?
We don't have like one that just signs you guys right over, but what I do love about teaching paramotor pilots is they typically have some sort of handling experience, right? You guys know when we say pull right brake, what right brake is, understand pitch and dive and things. It gets a little bit different because we pressurize our glider a little differently with our harnesses. We don't have a motor on us to give us gas when we want. So there's a couple little variances different there. So as we get paramotor pilots with varying degrees of, experience, then we just kind of evaluate where they're at. And they tend to move through things a little quicker. They tend to get through the beginning portions a lot quicker. It's where the high winds and the soaring come in, is where they don't have the experience so much in like launching off and soaring without a motor. But most of the time they do pretty good. I do find gaps in some education, where you guys aren't on ridges with compression and rotor and things the same way. So helping keep you guys on track and not just flying over terrain and different things like, no, don't fly over the terrain there. That's not good, So it's always, I find it really fun when we get paramotor pilots because verbiage is there and different things are there, and they're typically showing up because they want to learn. So they're pretty open for the most part. It's pretty fun.
Have you had any bad experiences, I guess, with any students at all where they've gotten hurt right away or anything like that?
I personally, I haven't had much situations with students. I would say, the biggest thing students can run into is, gopher holes or, uneven footing and stuff like that when they're learning, and trip and fall down and put a hand down and maybe tweak make their oh, my wrist is a little sore or something, So we try to keep everybody within their skill level, so we don't have people getting plucked and drug in high winds that have no skill for it. and things like that. So overall, like, we've got a pretty good safety record at the glider port. We haven't had a lot of big situations with the students recently, you know. We always try to talk with the students, you know, when we have students that come in that aren't super athletic yet, you know, we try to send them home with exercises to do in between working, you know, go take more walks, start, you know, running, or, you know, give them little things to keep themselves strong in between. Because, you know, here we have to hike. Most of our San Diego sites are hike up sites, you know, so, you know, we have to be a little more, I think, athletic here in San Diego than a lot of flight sites allow us to be, you know, with drive up access and things like that. So, you know, being strong is really important. It can keep you from being injured when things don't go perfect, you know, like a gopher hole, or, you know, tripping on yourself and falling over, you know, kind of things like that.
Right. I was just going to ask a question. Do we find a question? I was just going to ask and I've just lost it. Dang it.
I was reading the comments over here to see if I could see a question.
No, they're just talking, and
I see that.
it was
tell us about the equipment that you have to have for paragliding.
Yeah. So for paragliding, you know, you've got your harness and reserve, you know. We try to put the students in, you know, good padded, protected harnesses and things like that, because, you know, there's not a lot of oops in the sport, but we're going to have some oopses. So we want to set people up for success. But, you know, at the glider port, we sell, you know, all different harnesses, all the way to hike and fly, really lightweight, you know, string harnesses where you're like, please do not crash in that one at all, you know. But so you got your, you know, harness and reserve is your main base, and then your glider on top of that, you know. And then on top of that, you want good footwear, you know. You don't want hooks on your shoes to like snag lines. Or we had a student that had hooks on her shoes, and when she went cross-legged, they connected together, and we had to land her on the beach and her feet were stuck together, and so she just had to put her legs up and flare onto her butt. And then we're like, well, okay, we don't want hooks on the shoes, you know. And so everybody is really like, oh, I see hooks on your shoes at the glider port. Like, everybody polices each other's shoes all the time and stuff. It's really great.
Yeah.
But, you know, the other part of it is your helmet. You know, I see a lot of people skimp on the helmets, or, you know, get bicycle helmets. And, you know, I always feel a helmet is a super important part of your kit, and you don't want to shortchange yourself on a helmet, because when you need it, you don't want to go, oops, this was not a good enough helmet, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then gloves, you want to have gloves on, whether they're lightweight or heavyweight, you know, and that's, you know, kind of your main paragliding base, I'd say. But radio, of course, as well.
Shane.
You guys use a Vario too, don't you?
Yeah, you know, that comes down the road. You know, I use my Vario when I'm doing mountain flying and thermaling and stuff like that. On the ridge, I like the peace and quiet of no beeps and stuff. And I fly a different wing setup on the ridge than I do the mountains most of the time. But a Vario would come into play, a personal locator beacon, you know, things like that. So.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Shane Planet Shane says, my ankles like the sound of not having to land with the extra 80 pounds atop of them.
Right? Yeah, that's one of my reservations for getting into paramotoring is I have a fused back from other sports way long ago. And so the weight on my spine is like super kind of important. But now that we live at sea level, you know, like a top 80 or some lightweight kind of style thing would be definitely something I think I could look at down the road. Or like you have, Jade, where you had a trike kind of set up. I thought that, you know, would be something I could do down the road. But yeah, the 80 pounds, like when we tried to launch tandem and it was super switchy winds, Billy was like, we did 3 attempts. He was like, we can't do another one. I cannot run anymore with this weight on my back, you know? So,
Yep. So Craig is asking, why would people want hooks on their shoes?
Yeah, so like most hiking shoes like come with hooks, so you can like really tighten down the, you know, ankle area and get that really, you know, sign of support that you'd want for hiking. But when we think about paragliding, we want good, you know, kind of hiking style support. But if we have the hooks and say you take a collapse and some lines come down, they can snag the hooks. You can crisscross things on the hooks, you know. So, you know, not to say don't get those shoes, but it's pretty easy to take them down to like a shoe peddler or, you know, someone that does shoe repairs and switch out the eyelets, or you can yank those out and buy eyelets on Amazon and just switch them out, you know, pretty easy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And Planet Shane says PPG does tend to make your lower back remind me of its age.
You're right.
Right.
So, have you had any scary flights? How many years have you been flying first?
I'm coming up on 15 years of flying. You know, scary flights. I try not to fly when it's scary. You know, I would say some of my more recently nervous style flights were like in Turkey. Sometimes we fly around clouds, and I'm from areas where clouds are kind of really powerful. And, you know, so I was always a little nervous flying around clouds and as they were growing at the coast there and having to navigate around them a little bit or time our launch so that we launched and then the clouds would come in, you know. So I'd say like if I was a little more scared recently, it'd be kind of more clouds. And I guess when we were in Valle just this last round, I got into a really big piece of cloud suck that just boosted me like straight up, and I was kind of looked behind me. I was like, whoa, that's some big development back there. And I just kept pushing out and going out. And then Billy goes, yeah, I think we should not go over the back. Let's all push out. And they had some really big clouds that day. But I just try to risk management much better I don't really want to have a bunch of scary stories like for me. So I prefer to fly when it looks good and feels good. And I'll sit if it doesn't feel good or look good for me personally. So kind of weird, but I don't really have a bunch of really scary flying stories.
So Travis is saying 15 years ago, did she start when she was 5?
I wish. No, I'm actually 40. So if I don't look 40, then thank you.
Yeah, you don't.
I probably would have got hurt if I started when I was little. I didn't have a good risk management idea when I was a teenager and early 20s. I mean, I'd be like, hey, Millie, chuck off that 80-foot tabletop. I'd be like, okay. And I would just go crash, you know? And so I think I probably wouldn't have done well. And I got into paragliding when the gliders got safer. I wanted to get into it sooner, but everyone's like, you get into it now, it's a broken back, because extra small gliders were like super spicy. And so I kind of got into it when there was finally like lower rated gliders in my size. So I feel like I got into a good time, but it would have been nice to have it earlier, you know?
Yeah. Have you ever done any competitions?
I haven't done any competitions like solo style. Me and Billy have done a couple tandem competitions where we've gone and done waypoints and been tandem together and stuff like that. But I used to be really competitive in other sports, and I can't say that I stay as clear-minded when I'm a competition person. So I kind of decided with paragliding to not make it be competitive and keep it more on the fun side of things. So I haven't really done, you know, any big comps. And if I ever do a comp, it'll be more just kind of treat it like a fly-in with retrieve and stuff. And, you know, I don't really have any big desire to push it and launch when people tell me to launch and stuff. But I would say down the road, it'd be fun to do like a fun acro comp, you know, like when I get more skills, just to do it kind of like I used to do snowboard freestyle comps, you know. And I know I won't win because, you know, I'm not going to ever be that good, but it'd just be fun to just go to one time and just be a part of it, you know.
Yeah.
See, I thought that's why you were going to Turkey. You were going to be in some type of competition.
Nope, I've always wanted to do acro, and it's like dancing in the sky for me. So, you know, I don't think I'll ever progress all the way down to like Teo de Blick 14-meter acros comp style wings. I'll probably go down to maybe 18 being my smallest size and just enjoy it there, you know, and not be too crazy. I mean, well, I'm not really planning on getting too crazy in acro, but I definitely love it, and I'd like to learn a lot of the tricks still and have that fun.
How
So
long have you stayed aloft?
Sorry, what was that?
How long have you stayed aloft? What's the
Um,
longest?
let's see. My longest flight was just over, was it under 5 hours, like 4 hours. It's almost 4 hours, I believe. I'd have to look back, but I tried to fly 100 miles at the glider port like 11 years ago, and I launched at like 9:30 in the morning. It was like a prefrontal day, so it was already windy, and I flew for like at about 3.5 hours. I was like, I gotta pee. So then I was like looking down at my Vario, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going so slow into the headwind, and it got cross. And I calculated how many miles I had done and how many. I was like, I'm going to need to be in the sky another like 4 hours to maybe hit it. So I was like, so I went a little bit longer, and I tried to hit 50. I got 48 miles. So I landed just a little too soon, but I landed and ran. So, yeah, so I think I've got a limit, and then I'll have to kind of figure out the next problem solution thing, you know. So
Yeah.
wow. Oh, and Travis says he figured at the most 25 for you.
oh, well, thank you, thank
pretty
you.
nice.
The camera must be a little fuzzy or something. I try to cover up. I'm always like, if you guys ever see me in the glider pod, I have like a big bucket hat on and face tube covering me, and I don't care if it's 100 degrees. I'll have sun coverage on my arms and stuff, and so
Yeah.
gotta
Are you still
keep the
selling
skin
your
looking
clothes?
good.
Are you still selling your clothes?
Yeah, I've got my leggings are still on my little online site.
Okay.
Most of my other stuff's kind of on hold a little bit right now. I've got, a lot of it in progress, but I haven't, completed much of
Yeah.
it. So I'll probably get to that once I have a little more mobility and things going. So
I hear you, because it's like my shirt business kind of went to a halt because everything's down in the basement and can't really get down there too well for me.
yeah. Yeah, and Billy always says, Millie, if you ever want to create, well, you can just go in and you just tell me what to do and how to press it. And I'm like, oh, okay, So I've definitely been designing some things and doing stuff. And, when that creativity hits me, I'll be able to do more, But, going through recovery, you go through these ups and downs of all of a sudden I have all this energy one day and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to create. And then the next 3 days, I'm like, I'm so exhausted. I'm
Yeah.
just going to play Nintendo and just play Nintendo, and that's all I'm gonna do, So
I don't even have that. I was begging my kid to bring his up.
yeah, it just helps numb the brain sometimes. You're like waiting on results, or just gotta think about nothing for a little bit and just do nothing. I don't do well just not being of use and being helpful, but it's just sit down, heal, do your exercises, and keep moving.
Sometimes
Okay,
that's
so
all you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
some people might be wanting to know what you're recovering from, and I'm going to post um, a GoFundMe in the chat for Millie. So, can you tell us a little bit about what's going on in your life?
Yeah, so last August, I turned 40 in June, so my doctor goes, all right, let's schedule you for annual womanly things, your first mammogram. And I go in, first mammogram, uh, not looking good. I'm like, what does that mean? Come back next week. Come back next week, and I got breast cancer. And then the next 2 weeks was biopsies, and then it's been a whirlwind since then. And now I've had a double mastectomy to flat closure, and I'm recovering from that. And luckily, they were able to get all of the cancer out with good margins. So now I'm just waiting on test results to find out, what the next treatment, I guess, would be, or choices I need to make would be, and all those things with the style of cancer that I have, because there's like, I think 16 different types of breast cancer, and each one does its own thing and has different types of recurrence rates and things like that. So now I'm
Oh.
just in the healing phase, and then we'll go from there on what's going to be next, which I think I'm going to find out next week at one of my appointments. So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So don't, hold off on those mammograms, ladies, and if you have, family history of breast cancer. My grandma had breast cancer. I found out through the grapevine my aunt also has this type of breast cancer, and genetically don't have any genetics for it, but I definitely wish I would have maybe, thought to try to push a little bit quicker for some of my imaging with my family history. Some insurances will allow you to get in earlier if you have a good enough case. And a lot of women are getting in earlier and finding their cancers even earlier than I was able to, which then will save them from more treatments or further things, that they may have to do down the road. But it's becoming very normal now for women in their 30s to be diagnosed with breast cancer. So hopefully there's a lot of women fighting to have that 40-year-old age dropped to maybe 35 as an option. So hopefully if that, goes through with the way they're fighting in the courts, it might open up the possibility for women to get earlier imaging and hopefully catch some of these things a little sooner,
Well, we're rooting for you. And
Thank you.
That's one of the reasons I wanted you to come back on, because I wanted you to know that we're here for you. So if you
Thank you.
need to vent, need anything, we're here. So,
Thank you.
yeah. So, let me switch back over to Deweese says she gets hers every year. Yeah, and I
Good.
was due for mine in June, and I was kind of mangled up, and I kind of behind on mine right now. So
Yeah, our doctors down here are kind of pushy about it. If you go to one doctor and they'll push you, and then you go to another doctor and they'll back up the other doctor. So, they're and then they'll call you on the phone and say, "Didn't you go get your mammogram?" "No." "Well, go get it." So they're
Yeah.
kind of pushy about it. So
Yeah, it's good, I mean, each person can individually decide what's right for them and, all their risks and stuff, but, I can't say like, "Yay, it was fun getting a mammogram,"
but
you know
it's
what I
not
mean? And I'll
it's not
never
that
have to get one again, but, it's like, honestly, I would rather do that earlier in my life than deal with surgeries and chemo and radiation and all these things to just go, "Ladies, just go in once a year. Get
Yeah,
it
just go
done."
ahead and get it
You
done.
might
It's not
find they
that
recommend twice a year for dense breast tissue, and just do it. It's the dense breast tissue increases your chances possibly. So,
and it's
it's
worth having it done to prevent further complications or not knowing until
yeah,
it's too
and if you're not down for the squishing, you can get it an ultrasound. There's lots of different ways to get it done if, it's not your cup of tea, there's lots of solutions out there, but you definitely don't
and the
want to
squishy's
delay.
not bad.
Yeah.
Kramer said that she lost her mom and her daughter to breast cancer. She says, "Prayers to you, Millie."
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
My heart goes out to you.
Yeah. So, when Bonnie says she had some concerns before Christmas last year, so I had to go for an ultrasound, but thankfully just dense. Yeah.
Oh, good, good. Yeah. Always best to hear that news, of course, right?
Yep.
Yep. And Linda, she says she never misses one. They're not fun.
No,
So,
Yeah, but much funner than not catching it in time, So,
yeah. So how long ago did you have the surgery?
I had it just before Valentine's Day, so second week in February or something. So,
Okay.
but and everyone's like, "Oh, aren't you missing flying?" And I'm like, "I am," but I got to go to Turkey right after I was diagnosed. We almost canceled my Turkey trip, but I'm so glad that I went. It was tough. It was probably some of the mentally toughest times. I'm sitting there doing scary stuff. I guess for me, that's where my scary stuff is doing stalls and pushing through stuff I've had fear for, So here I am, a mile above the sea. My coach, Jack, said, "All right, Millie, let's do this, you know, and I'm like pushing out all the cancer thoughts and all the what's happening. And, you know, and there's a couple days I couldn't, and a couple days where I gave up my run. I just had to just fly and I didn't have it in me, you know, but, so I filled a lot of stuff there, and then we got to go to Mexico, and I filled my, as much as I could, you know, I was still pretty emotional there also. So I, you know, could only fly to a certain level. But, you know, when I came to my surgery, I was like, man, I filled my cup. I can watch everyone fly. I'm good for a while, even if it's a few more months because of treatments or something. It's no big deal. It's a short time, you know, and I've got
Yeah.
a lot of great stuff to get back to eventually. So there's no need to push it, you know, but I'm like the photographer out there. It's like every night Telegram, I'm sending everyone their videos I took of them while I was sitting in a chair, you know, and so it's
Cool.
just is what it is, you know.
And Craig B says, hope you get back to some sort of normal.
Awesome. Thank you, Craig.
So, well, cool. Any other, hello, Teddy.
Aww.
When are you going to get another dog?
You know, we're just not ready yet. You know, physically, I'm not anywhere to help train a new puppy or deal with all of that. But what's been great is the glideport owner got some new puppies like about around first of the year. Oh, they're so cute. They come and visit me every day, and I take them for walks and wear them out. And so it's good because I go walk them around the perimeter and they follow me and play ball with them when I can and stuff. So it's, you know, it's been fun kind of helping them. And then it kind of re-gets my brain on track of like when we do get a puppy, like the training program will put them through, you know, so they're where we want them to be. But you know, it's hard to do a lot of traveling when you have a dog, and, you know, we get really attached to them, and it's hard to find, you know, I don't want to pawn them off on people all the time, you know, so we're going to get some international traveling done first, and then we'll know when that feels ready and our hearts are ready for it, you know, because Blue was special. He was more than just a doggy for us, you know, so it's going to take a little time still, but I'm starting to open my heart up.
I know I've had a black lab that my friends were like, I think your dog is more human than dog, you know, and it's like, I don't know. So
That's how Blue was. Yep.
Yep.
So
Bonnie wants to know where Coco is.
She's in bed.
She's the old lady.
She's
just napping away.
Yep. Teddy's just got to be by mom.
Oh, that's so cute. Look at him. Oh. Yeah, dogs are the best.
Yeah, but Coco was the one that went flying with me. And then when I would put him in the harness, she would get so mad.
That's fun.
He only went up and down the runway with me in Michigan one time, and he was like nose in the air, hitting the wind, and so I don't know. I'm not sure if he liked it yet or not. So
yeah, I mean, try it out down the road again.
Yeah,
you'll know if he doesn't like it. They're pretty obvious if they don't like it.
Yeah, right.
Our one friend would fly with his dog, and he would scream bloody murder when he was putting the harness on him. And everyone would be like, no, it doesn't want to go flying. And we're like, he totally wants to go flying. And as soon as it was finished and it was finished clipping, he immediately was chill, wanted to go fly, but it was this moment of putting the harness on. It was like he was so excited. It sounded like he was miserable, but he was like, we're going flying. So it was always fun when he came out because you know he loved it.
Oh, funny.
There's Walter's joined us.
Well, hello, Walter from Down Under. So you guys got any other plans on vacation spots coming up, or are you just going to stay put for now and train?
Yeah, for now, just staying put. My main goal is to get back out to Turkey in October. Plan to do a course with the Rise paragliding guys again. Probably get out there and warm myself up, and then help them push me through where I'm stuck, and then I'll be able to progress. And all that good stuff. So that's my main goal. And that'd be October. So if things go well between then and stuff, we may try to do like a trip up to the sand dunes in, Monterey and stuff like that local. But as far as big trips, it's kind of hard to plan those out with not knowing what's happening with me. But my goal is going to be October for Turkey. So
That's one of my questions. Okay, so why, and I don't know if this is true or not, but you're going to Turkey to train and learn more stuff compared to back home when you're an instructor. What makes them so much better over there?
I think individually each person just needs to find the style of coach and the style of progression that they want. And what I like about Turkey is it's like a vacation. Like literally you go fly, you sleep in this comfy hotel. I'm not on the side of a lake for 3 days camping. When I'm not flying, I can go take more flights. I don't have to wait for a tow rig to tow me up. So as soon as my tows are done, I can go do like 5 more in that day if I want. And then when we finish up, you go fly more and practice and leave, with a lot of practice and not going, tow clinic's over, bye, go try to find a ridge to fly, so you're able to, for how much you're investing to go over there, it's really nice to be able to lock a lot of things in and feel more comfortable and eventually I'll feel comfortable to do it over dirt. Like we get a good day at Saboba, big glass off, I get a few thousand feet up, I'll feel good enough to do some acro, so that's kind of the main purpose out there. And as an instructor, like I'm not the best at everything, and so where I lack skills is in acro and certain things, and so those guys have kind of helped push me past some of my own fears. I've witnessed some pretty horrific accidents in this sport and really put a big fear barrier up in my brain on certain things, and so it's been really nice to find coaches that have helped me push through factually with the right skill development to get me to where I want to be, help me get on the correct gear for my body weight and where I want to go, to set myself up for success has been really important. And then I can take all of those lessons and apply them to my students and be a better instructor for them and be more educated and more knowledge for them, and maybe down the road, I'll do SIV courses or clinics with my students and stuff, but I want to be really experienced at those things before I even think about coaching people on it. Like I haven't had everything happen to me yet, so if someone's in a cravat spiraling out in an auto rotation, like do I have the skills to get them out of that? Right now I wouldn't say I would as a coach, so I need to get better at things myself to grow as an instructor. And I'm also still a solo pilot. I like to solo fly probably more than I like to teach. So, I just want to grow myself a bit too.
So where are the SIV schools for paragliding? I mean, where's
so there's, for the US, there's quite a few different ones, all the way from down to Florida, up to Washington and, California areas.
Are they the same ones that the paramotor schools use?
It's possible that some of the paramotor pilots go out to those SIV courses. When I was out in Turkey, quite a few people in the courses with me were paramotor pilots from England, and they all come out to, get better and know how to handle things. So it was always really funny because some of them hadn't really paraglided much. And so it was always fun watching them launch. They could forward inflate really well, and stuff like that. So, but they all, became much better paramotor pilots from doing their SIV courses. So I think it would be pretty similar. You don't have the motor on your back doing it, which is much safer in a way, but
so I'm thinking it's the same people.
Yeah. And I know let's see, some of the guys from like Texas and things like that, those paramotor guys, they run some SIV courses out there. Like Matt Mignardi runs brings his paramotor students over also and does SIV courses with them there. So, there's a lot of different coaches out there that do stuff, and so you just got to do your homework and find what style of voices that you feel are going to be the best for you and where you want to go.
Bill H is asking, have you flown Hearne, Texas?
I actually haven't flown Texas, but we have a signed off student that lives out in Texas, has been flying there. He just came back last week. He says it's much different flying in Texas than, you know, the coast of California, but haven't been out there yet.
Okay. Oh, good night, Craig. He's got to, or good day, Craig, because it's the next day. Down in Australia, he's got to get ready for work.
Yeah, early morning.
Well, cool. I'm glad we got a chance to meet up with you again.
Yeah.
And next week, we're not going to be doing a show. It's spring break, and we're not going to be around. So I might do a video here or there on YouTube or Facebook or whatever. So if you get a chance and you see that I'm live or whatever, might be kind of interesting to see, because I'm not going to tell you where we're going. So,
okay.
So anyway, Billy, you got anything else? Exciting, fun?
Well, just, you know, trying to kick cancer's butt and just trying to, you know, stay positive through it all. And, you know, days are going to come and go, but it's shocking. The community here is just swirled up around me to a way that words can't even express it, you know? I've never felt so loved in my life. I've never felt so lifted up in my life. And it's really strange because, you know, none of them can go through it for me, but I feel so not alone in the process, even though some of it's very lonely feeling. It's so amazing that I can just go, can somebody bring me this today to the glider port, or can someone get this to Billy to get to me? And it's like instant, like people are fighting over who's going to help. And it shocks me. It's just, I can't thank my community more than, there's no words that can thank them all. You know, they're just, the San Diego pilot community is just top-notch people. It's just amazing.
Pilot community in general. I mean, it's just, I mean, with what I went through, and I mean, all the people that are watching, I mean, they were contacting us and, you know, asking Eric if there's anything he needed. And Deweese and Randy were up at our house at the time that it happened, and, you know, and helping out. And it's, everybody just kind of helped out. And I know some days it feels like we are alone, and, you know, and it's like, kind of got to slap yourself in the face and say, hey, you know, we've got a lot of people on our side. So
Yeah.
I feel ya.
Good.
Wish I could give you a big hug right now.
I'm just gotta do it through the phone.
A squeeze through the screen.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Are you willing to stick around for a few minutes afterwards to see if anybody wants to say hi to you off the screen?
Sure. Yeah, Billy's still out flying. I think I hear pilots still making noise out there. So,
Okay.
good time to just keep chatting.
I'll put the invite out, and if anybody wants to meet Millie in the after, come on over and say hi. We won't stick around too long though. So I'm sure once Billy gets down, she'll want to go hang out with him. So
I'll get some dinner here soon.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm good for a little bit.
All right. So thank you again, Millie. I really appreciate it, and you stay strong. Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Fly safe, everybody.